And we are live. When you have engineers in a live stream, I think it's written we have to have bugs.
Of course. Always.
the first, yeah, I think it's probably the first time. Oh wait, I had another engineer in one of my first sessions, but not with this format. But anyways, we're here. People are joining right away, so I guess they were waiting for us.
That's great.
That's cool.
Great.
That's cool.
Very excited.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Startup Kitchen Show. We're gonna start in about 2-3 minutes. I mean, it's live, but we're gonna start the conversation in 2-3 minutes because we need to double check if everything is running smoothly. And you can help us. Let us know in the comments if you hear us well, and let us also know where you are based. So type those little messages in the comment, hit send, and we'll start with our guest in just 2 to 3 minutes. Let's double check. You could check with your friends if they can see you on the YouTube.
Yes, I'm
Uh,
gonna check right now.
yeah, it should be running. Yeah, for me it's running on YouTube. X should be running. I see yours. Brilliant.
Yes, I think everything should be running smoothly. Hopefully.
Excellent. All right. It seems like we're live everywhere. I'm just gonna repost it right now. Boom. There we go. Okay. Check this out. Hello here.
Hi.
Hello here.
Oh, I know these people. Great to see
I
them.
think it's all your people. I think it's all your people. Love it, love it. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the session. Let's give it another minute for people to join. If you're just joining in now, say hello in the chat. Let us know that you're here and where you're located. I'm interested to see how far we can reach people with these kind of events. It's gonna be a
I'm
great
very
session.
curious.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic, fantastic. Cool, cool, cool. All right. Everything is okay. Everything's running smoothly. People are joining. Oh, we got people from Romania. Love this.
Oh, neighbors to Bulgaria. Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There you go. This is an international session. All right. Let's give it a start and people can always quickly rewind and see what's happening. So welcome to the Startup Kitchen Show. I'm Riley. I'm a startup advisor and investor. And every week I try to interview and get on this show people who have interesting, inspiring, empowering stories, whether they are builders, founders, tech or non-tech, or if they are subject matter experts like investors, marketers, or pure tech. And the purpose of this show is really to give you real stories, no artificial flavor, no artificial numbers, so that you can discover people who were in your situation and eventually learn from them. Because you know what we say, smart people learn from other people's mistake. Hopefully, our guest doesn't have too many mistakes, but but the point here is really to share some knowledge, share some values. And in the second part of the show, you'll be able to submit all your questions to Elitza and have a little conversation. You can start sending your questions right now. We're going to stack it up to the second part of the show. But this is the Startup Kitchen Show. Let's go. Elitza, thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much for hosting me. It's really a pleasure being here.
I love it. And you were telling me off before we started, as we were debugging the situation, you were telling me that this is your first podcast and your first live.
Exactly. Many first things happening lately, so this is one of them.
Absolutely. And this is where I want to go with this conversation. But before I ask about it, as I said, the show is called the Startup Kitchen Show. And the first question I ask all my guests is, what is your favorite food recipe?
I knew you might ask this question seeing your previous videos, and I was afraid. Because I'm generally a foodie, so I actually love almost everything. Um, but maybe if I have to pick something, I don't know, maybe pizza or sushi. I love very much Japanese cuisine, and
Okay.
like ramen as well. But lately I'm kind of more on something not like a diet, but a new, like, more healthy lifestyle. So it's a lot about like eating meat with rice and very actually very boring stuff.
That's a gym and fitness diet typically.
Yes, because that's what I am into as well. In the past 8 months, I'm working out and trying to eat as healthy as possible.
I love this. I love this. Is there any Bulgarian recipe that you like or that is a bit special for you?
Oh yes, there are many. Um, but maybe one of them, some people, if they're people from Greece here or from Turkey, might argue where it's exactly like coming from, but it's still very typical in Bulgaria is moussaka. Probably, I don't know if you have heard about it. It's
Yeah,
But I love it, especially when my grandmother does it. It's like I love it.
what so what would be like the one or two special ingredient that makes that moussaka really melting your heart?
I think putting, except for all the food ingredients, like a little bit of love in it, because always my grandmother, of course, when she does it, she's doing it for us. And I don't know, it's when you do something with really like pleasure to give to others, then it's always very delicious, although she's always complaining that it's not good enough, but
So you need to be perfectionist, but at the same time give a lot of love into what you're cooking.
exactly.
I love this. I love this. And this is the perfect transition to the show, um, because my belief and this mine, um, building a business is like cooking. There are a lot of
Definitely.
lessons that you can take from cooking and cooking for people, and building product and services for people. When you're building a business and you're building a solution, a lot of people try to be perfectionist and they're never satisfied of
Yes.
what you're building, and at the same time, you need to put care into building the solution and delivering it to people, because ultimately solving a problem is somehow telling your customers that you love them, right?
Totally. Like,
So that's go ahead.
yeah, I wanted to say about the perfectionism, it's exactly one of the big, I would say, problems and issues that both me and my co-founder had. We are both huge perfectionists, and I think this is probably one of the mistakes that we did, is that this always stopped us from releasing the product sooner, because we
Mm,
were always not happy that we need this feature, we need to improve this, we need to add this so that people are
mm,
happy. But I think this, if I would have done it again, I would definitely not be that perfectionistic.
absolutely. And you see, that's why I call this show the Startup Kitchen Show, because food is a universal language. And when I work with my clients, startup founders, I always use food metaphors to explain them startup concept or technical concept or business concept. And so that's why I really like to start the show with something like this. Um, so yeah, thank you for giving us your favorite food, giving us a little bit of the secret ingredients about that moussaka that your grandma is making. Now I want to do exactly the same thing with what you're doing, what you're building. So trying to get the recipe from you, trying to get the secret ingredient for you. But before that, we're gonna step back and we're gonna do just like in the superhero movie, the origin story. So I want us to rewind as far as possible so that we can know who is where do you come from, so we can get a clear idea of who you are, what you do, and also because there's a small portion of the audience that are not my followers who don't know you.
Definitely, I would love to share that. So I'm originally from Bulgaria. I was raised there. I went to school there until 19 years old, and I studied in a German school. And I've always wanted to mm, try new things. And my parents encouraged me to come to study to Austria. In the beginning, I didn't want to,
Hmm.
so that's how I came here. And I've always loved maths. Like, this was my favorite subject. I always did. This was the first homework I did in school. not like the typical other kids. um, and and somehow I ended up like, because of this, studying informatics, because I also loved computers. I was fascinated by them. My uncle had a computer club when I was a kid. I was playing computer games with the others. It was very, very fun. And so I started studying informatics here in Vienna, where I am right now. And so I graduated like bachelor's, and then I continued with master's. It was a more specific studies. It was in the direction of visual computing. So we did a lot of computer graphics, rendering. So it's a little bit different than what I'm doing right now. And after graduating, we had this super cool group of friends in the university, and with one of them, my current co-founder Dominic. I don't know if he's watching. If he's, hello. We decided that both of us don't want to go into the standard like corporate direction. So we decided right after university we want to start something on our own, like
Hmm.
building our own idea. And there has been this program at our university about innovation and like learning how to found a startup, how to pitch your idea, how to finance, like all these kind of basics that every founder should know. And we kind of both got in, and that's where the first, let's say, parts of our idea started evolving. We pivoted, of course, many times and reshaped the product, but this is where it then kind of really started into the startup and founder world. And maybe one thing that's cool to mention is that in my family, actually, most of the male members have their own businesses, like, or they founded a company. Like my father, my cousin, my uncle, my grandfather. So I guess probably I have it more or less from them, but I really like to challenge myself and take rather the harder path.
Love it. I love it. There's one thing I'm curious about, and the reason why I want to ask this is because I totally recognize my story in yours. I could have tell the same thing and just replacing our names. I grew up around computers, computer club, and these kind of things. Then got to university as well, etc. And people always ask me this question: is if I if I didn't pick computer science, what would have gone into? So I want to ask you that question.
That's a very good question. Um, Interesting about me, as much as I love logic, I'm generally very logical person. I love maths, as I said, and computers and algorithms and all these kind of things. I think I'm also a very artistic person. So I do a lot of things around coding and algorithms. I do a lot of artistic stuff, like for example, makeup for like Halloween, all these kind of things. I used to also love singing, and many friends encouraged me at some point in this journey. Yeah, why don't you do this in your as your hobby? But I don't know. I never did it, so I assume I if it was not engineering, it would have actually been something very artistic, like very creative. I'm like, in my personality, I'm very creative person. But what exactly, I can't exactly tell you.
No, I fully understand that. I fully understand that, and that's also the beauty of computer science and engineering and software engineering. It's it's feeding two different kind of appetites. If you love logic and math, the science, you can find happiness in there. But if you're also a creative person, you can find your path in the design aspect, in building the user
Yes,
experience, or like the graphic design, the 3D design, the
totally. Yeah.
movie editing, and all these kind of things. And so it blends a little bit of both worlds. And for me, I remember they asked me this question that to enter university. I said, "What? Why computer science?" And I said, "I think it's one of those rare fields where you can create something out of zeros.
Yes.
Like a software is just a series of zeros and ones. And
Yeah.
the conversation we're having right now is thanks to that. The tools that we're
Totally.
building is thanks to that. The movie that we love are built thanks to that. And so it's building stuff out of thin air. It has a little bit of magical factor into it.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
Love it. So now I want to know, okay, you graduate from university. What was your first move outside of university?
You mean in terms of our startup or in
Yeah.
general?
So, sorry, let me rephrase that. Why why did you jump into the startup world and not into the traditional find a job and these kind of things?
Mm,
Because that's why
mhm.
I did the same thing. Like we have the same story.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly, when I was seeing already my friends, I mean, I worked during university a bit. Like I worked like part-time job. I also was like, we had this thing in our university where you can be a tutor, so you're kind of helping students in the earlier phases of studies. And I don't know, I've seen so many of my friends going to these 9 to 5 jobs, and honestly, when I was thinking of doing this myself, I somehow froze. Like I was like thinking that I can't feel that this is for me. I can't imagine myself, at least at that point, not that it's something bad. I just couldn't imagine myself there. And I had back then, I remember a conversation with a friend of mine who told me, in university, you're not there just to listen to learn new technical things. You're there also to make connections, so use these connections and their knowledge and create something together. And honestly, this is where it clicked to me. And I think this was when I remember it still, when I wrote to Dominic and one other colleague of ours, and I was like, hey guys, why don't we just like do a startup, do something together? And I thought at first maybe nothing will turn out of this, but then actually with Dominic we did it, and I'm super grateful for that because looking back, if I had the same choice, probably I would choose the same thing again.
Mm,
Like for me, I think that the main reason of doing this in general is I'm my goal is freedom, but I'm not just talking about financial freedom. I'm talking freedom of I love traveling, for example, and I would love to be able to work from anywhere. I would love to wake up whenever I want, like have this freedom in every aspect of it. Although often we actually, as founders, have less freedom if you think about it, but at least that's
yeah.
what I'm striving for.
You build yourself a wonderful golden cage and you just sit inside with a keyboard.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love this. I love this. I want to double down on what you just said because I think a lot of builders or founders face this dilemma. And people, when you say you graduate from university and you say, okay, I'm not gonna go get a normal job. I'm gonna bet on myself and build a startup. I don't know for you, but for me and a lot of my friends, the surroundings, like the
Mm.
family, the friends, and stuff like that, started looking at it scared and telling you, "Are you sure this could be dangerous?" So, A, did you get that type of reaction? And two, how did you react to that?
Very good question, because I had that a lot actually. My friends who are in Bulgaria, they actually chose exactly the opposite path, like 9 to 5. Most of them already have kids. They have their jobs figured out. Even some of them like bought a house. They are married. So for them, probably what I'm doing is completely crazy. I don't think that they fully understand me. For my parents, if they're watching, hi. um, I think they were always very supportive. Like in whatever I do, they were never like telling me, "Yeah, don't do that." But of
Mm,
course, in our journey from the beginning, because it has already been quite long, like more than 3 years in total, there had been times where they just saw me that I'm struggling at some times, and it wasn't easy. And of course, sometimes I was complaining to them. And of course, at that times, they were like, yeah, maybe, to find something secure, like 9 to 5 job. Why don't you do that? And I completely understand them. Like, I completely understand them as parents. But what kept me going is, first, I'm a person who really gives up super, super hard, even at very tough times. I just can't give up. It's like, for me, I don't know if you know this meme. I love it. It's like one person mining, and you have these diamonds at the end, and you're so close. And if you just give up right now, maybe you never reach that. And somehow this always stayed in my mind, and I was like, I can't give up right now, because maybe I'm just that close to achieving what I want. And that's also what keeps me going all the time.
100%. I love this. I love this. for for me, it's also the same. I was born in North Africa. I come from a village where till this day there are still houses that don't have access to tap water.
Mm.
And so for me, like, that thing that keeps me digging an inch forward is I'm thinking, look, you're living in North America. I grew up in France. I grew up in Paris. I saw, like, there are a couple of folks in the chat who are from France, and I was extremely lucky to get access to that education. And I think, oh, some of my cousins, some of my family members will never get a chance to get the education I had, or access to those opportunities. So why should I just trash that? Why should I spoil this?
Yeah,
I feel it's like an insult, you know?
yeah,
Like, life gave you cards, you can play with those cards, and you decide, nah, I'm just gonna put them on the table and watch a series. No, just push that. Yeah.
totally. I agree completely. I had examples of people who did that, and I feel it's a pity, because, as you said, you have this chance, which, by the way, I'm super grateful for my parents giving me this opportunity first to come here and study. And of course, this was also one of the reasons, like, I can't lose this chance to do something meaningful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. I love that. Um, Hi to all the new joiners. This is a live show. This is not a recorded stuff. So say hello in the chat. Let us know that you're here. Let us know if you have any questions for our guest today. I'm Riley, startup advisor, and we are with the amazing Elitza, builder and founder, Building in Public on X. So we just gone through your origin story. We're in your first startup. Uh, can you tell us what was the startup doing again for the new joiners?
Yes, of course. Our startup is called OnPage. It's basically a cross-platform where you can super easily, with drag and drop interactions, create a portfolio or a mini website to showcase your projects, your hobbies, and anything else you like. It really works with simple drag and drop, no coding needed.
Ooh, this is a really good less than 1 minute pitch. I love that. I love that. I always trick my guest just to see how long they will talk, but you got it right. I love this. I love this. So remember at the beginning of the show we talk about a recipe, like what is your favorite dish, what is the recipe of that dish. So now I want to do this with your product, with your project, the own page. Um, but before I dive into this, I need to
Mhm.
know, where did this project came from? How did you ended up building this?
Yes, like, going back to my story, like, after university, in this program, to enter, you had to have an idea. It was not obligatory, but it was good to have an idea. And I
Mm,
remember back then with my Dominic, because we said we're doing this together, very funnily, we had different problems, but we found one solution for both problems. And
mm,
for him, the problem was, back then in university, we had many lectures where, for example, we had to present things that we were doing. And of course, for example, as a software developer, we can build this on our own. But having something super fast, which you can do in a few minutes, showcase, like, your projects, or any online presence that you have anywhere, like YouTube, like, for example, for you as a You could put your YouTube channel there, your LinkedIn, your X, like all your presences in one place, in one central place. So this was kind of his side of the problem that he wanted to solve. And for me, because I'm coming more from social media, especially back then, Facebook and Instagram. And for me, they were very limiting and very generic. Like in Instagram
Mm.
specifically, you have this grid of 3 pictures and they're always chronologically ordered and you can't change anything. Like on the one hand, this is great to have this simplicity everywhere and like all profiles look basically the same, but you don't have this creativity which we also talked about. And for me, I wanted to have something where I have the control over it. Like I don't rely on this big platform that defines how things should look. So I really wanted to have the control over it. And that's kind of, after a lot of pivots, a lot of iterations, the product looked back then completely different. Like I think we had 3 major changes of how our whole system and UI looks like. So basically, during these iterations, we changed it to the current state that people can see right now.
I love this. You said a couple of interesting keywords. Uh, Sorry, I kind of bother you with messages, but like you have a couple of friends or couple of fellows from Belgium saying hello.
Very cool. Hello. Very happy to see fellow Bulgarians here.
You said something very interesting, and the number one mistake I see with founders reaching out to me booking consultations is they come to me and say, "Hey, I have this idea and I want to build it." And the
Mhm.
thing I always tell them is, "That's not the best way to start." And
Yeah.
so they ask me, "What is the best way to start?" And you said it. You started from a problem.
Yeah.
And the cool thing with this, as opposed to an idea, is that problem can have multiple root causes. And what's brilliant about what you said is that you and your co-founder had the same problem, but different cause and consequences. But you were
Yes.
able to align on that. And that is so powerful in building stuff. Focusing on solving problems instead of, oh, I have this idea out of nowhere, and
Yeah.
hopefully someone is going to think it's great and is going to use
Yeah.
it, right? So that's very impressive because usually most of the first time founder I see fall into that first trap of, oh, let me sit, think of a couple of ideas, or today it's even worse. They asking ChatGPT for ideas
Yes. That's true.
instead of looking around them and identifying the problems. And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to say that in the beginning of this problem, it was very interesting. We had a lecture where actually the very first lectures were really about this, like identifying problems. And he told us, the lecturer, just observe the world around you, like in your everyday life, like search for problems. And it was very interesting because at that time, I kind of also got into that state of looking differently, like to the world and detecting problems, like okay, I'm struggling with this, maybe there is a solution. So I think this can also help a lot of people to start, like to shift their mentality a bit and start looking for problems. And very often I see other founders, like also in our case, to make a solution, a lot of them have the problem themselves first. And if you have the problem, the probability that someone else has the same problem is very high. So I think this is a very good first step that people can try, like solving their own problems.
Absolutely. Solving your own problems is a first way to start, or solving problems for people you are connected with, neighbors, friends, family, colleagues, because you have an easy access to those early users,
Yes.
is a great way to start. And I want to drop one warning though when you're solving problems for yourself is trying to avoid building what I call the custom glasses.
Yeah.
So you make the solution so much fitting your eyes prescription that it doesn't fit anyone else, right?
Yeah.
That's the classic thing.
Totally.
It's like you're cooking a dish, and because you love spice and hot, you just dump it in there, and you're the only one loving it, and then nobody wants to eat it because it's too hot for them. So you always have to
Totally.
pay it. You have to pay attention as well to how people are and behave to make sure that it's not like the Cinderella one shoe fitting one feet.
Totally. Totally.
How did you prevented this with own page?
In the beginning, we had, first of all, we did a lot of research, online, of course, first, but also talking to people in our circle. Through the startup, we joined several different programs for founders, different people, and there I met people who, for example, were struggling a lot building their own website. Like this was kind of our very first kind of niche, like people who want to have an online presence,
Mm.
like their own website, but were basically struggling even with the solutions out there. Like a lot of people, for example, back then in the interviews told me, I tried WordPress, but it was horror. Like I spent hours and I still couldn't figure out. Like me, even me as a developer, I worked with WordPress and it was insane. So I saw that many people had this problem and were struggling. So I knew, okay, so they need something simpler, even than these platforms who are already claiming they're super simple. So that was kind of the first verification that there is a problem there.
Mm.
And a second thing, back in the days, I must say, they teach us something which, from the current perspective, I believe it's a little bit wrong. Here, at least, they teach us that if you like, if you have a lot of competitors, then probably it's not worth it, and you should give up. But from my current perspective, I completely disagree, and I think first, this proves that you've got a market, especially when so many people and new people are trying to do it. And second, I really think you can always find a way to differentiate, to make something unique a little bit better than the others, so that you can still make it. And yes, if it doesn't become the biggest unicorn in the world or whatever, you can still make pretty decent business from out of that. So that's my current perspective.
100%. I just want to say, guys, I didn't clone myself as a woman to say the same thing. This is we really align on everything. It, I get this comment a lot. People asking me, yeah, but it's a saturated market and stuff like that. There is no such a thing as a saturated market to make $1, 2, 3, 4, $5,000 a month.
Yes.
There's not such a thing. Okay, if you want to build like $100 million company, it's a different question. But let's just
Yeah.
face it, you're not gonna build $100 million company in 6 months. Those companies, they spent like 5, 10 years being there, and the reality is, as a first time entrepreneur, what you want to do is gain experience, gain muscle memory of the market, talking to your customers, talking to your users. So why do you raise the bar
Mm,
in, okay, let me do this, but on a market that doesn't exist yet? Like, you're playing hard mode for nothing, basically.
yes.
It's already hard to like build something and get a couple of peoples to buy. Why do you do it like in a market that you also need to create? It's so hard. I don't know why people think this way. Do you have an idea?
I don't know, to be honest. I think it's a little bit, I don't know if it's in whole Europe in general. I think it's the mentality here a bit, from what I've heard from other people and people who have been also to the US, it's a little bit different. And they really, in many of those lectures, they told us that you have to build something disruptive, something unique. And this is not the reality. I think, like, to find something super disruptive and unique, that doesn't happen like this. And also it happened so rarely through history if we look back. And honestly, I don't know why they have this opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And also, again, like, it's a journey and you are supposed to learn things. And so it's better to just gather those skills and experience on races that are much easier to compete to, not even winning, just compete to, and
Yeah.
then jumping into something bolder. If you look at some of the crazy entrepreneurs that we have here in the world, some of them got their amazing project 10, 20, 30 years in their career.
Mm,
SpaceX was not Elon Musk's company.
yeah.
He started with like crappy video games and the yellow pages on a website, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, totally.
and now you can jump into innovative market and stuff like that. So I think it's a really good learning that we can share with the audience today, which is, yeah, don't necessarily trust people who say go for disruption. Like
Yeah.
what is it that you're trying to do? And if you're a first time founder or like a young inexperienced founder, start by playing in a field that is established, that has its foundation, so that when you talk to people about your idea, it's easier to say, oh, I'm building a better version of Instagram, because people understand, oh, Instagram, not good, better. Okay, I get it. I'm listening.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Love it. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say, related to that, that sometimes I had this, I was afraid a bit of failing, like at least back in the days. And that the time that I've spent, like, let's say things don't go as I would like them to go, or let's say on page doesn't succeed, I used to look differently to the things back in the days. But I think right now I changed to, even if it fails, I think I would have never ever learned so many things if I just observed others or did nothing, because you always learn through trying things, meeting new people, facing difficulties. So I think this is the biggest learner, so to say, when you especially when you're a first time founder, because without failing, actually, I think you can't succeed in the long run. So if I now would be starting again, I would do many things completely different.
Oh, and we're gonna talk about this in a minute. We're gonna talk about this in a minute. I love it. It's a brilliant insight. Um, I always, my favorite example is I can watch Gordon Ramsay cooking for 1,000 hours. I will never be able to make a dish on the first spot. Like,
Yes.
let's just face it. So why do we think it's different for building a product or a business? It doesn't work like that. Imagine you are, imagine you need to do a surgery, God forbid, you go to the hospital and then they present you two surgeons. One says, hey, I've read 1,000 books about surgeries, I've watched all the videos about surgeries, but I've never performed a surgery. The second one says, I didn't read any single book, but I've performed 1,000 surgery. Which one would you pick?
Of course, the
The
second.
the the second one, the one with experience, not the one with the knowledge, because from knowledge to action, there's such a gap that it's
Yeah.
actually crazy. And so, long story short, if you want to build something, build it. Sounds
Yeah.
stupid, but just Nike has the best marketing sentence for that. Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah.
Just
Totally.
do it. Absolutely. I want to highlight a really interesting comment from one of my future guests. He said, I think it's not only searching for the problem that is important, but making sure that the problem is for everyone and people are paying for that is a good validation. So, not just like
Yeah.
identifying the problem, but making sure it's a problem you can sell the solution for, and you have an idea of like how many people would be interested in that. So I want to transform this into a question. Did did you validate the problem, and did you validate the monetization of the solution?
That's a great question. Well, the problem is there. This I must admit we validated. First through these interviews that I told you that we conducted back in the days. Also the competitors, and generally the interest, even before actually releasing the product. Except for our friend circle, we had a lot of people signing for the waiting list just through finding our website, and we didn't have any marketing back then. Like, just through finding our website through Google to SEO, people found the product. So when it comes to monetization, this is a bit the tricky part. Um, that's what we are right now struggling a bit with. And we're trying to figure out at the moment what the problems are. I mean, we had 2 3 customers who actually joined without doing any marketing. They joined from, because our app is also available on the app stores. So for example, one of them joined through iOS, and we never like marketed anything to this person, so
Mm.
they just found us. um but through the for the rest, the problem I think right now is that our product is a SaaS product with a freemium model. So basically, a lot of people very much like the product. We constantly receive very positive feedback,
Okay.
but I think our free version is either too um, giving out too much freedom to the people, so they actually don't have a reason to convert to the paid version, or the features in the paid version are not yet convincing enough. So there's kind of a bottleneck in the whole funnel, which kind of we're trying to solve right now. So I wouldn't say that we personally yet validated it, but again through our competitors, because apparently some of them are also building in public and they publish their numbers, so I could check. And they have as well like a freemium model. And I'm not gonna like share like who this is, but for example, I saw that their conversion rate is also not so high. So they actually, to monetize the users, they need a really very high user base. So for like for
Mm.
example, 42,000 users, they have only 3 to 400 paying ones. So I think
Mm.
this is maybe, I think, how the product is. Like it's just a very specific thing, and obviously when you have a product with a freemium model, usually the conversion rate is way lower.
Mm.
But we're gonna test like another option. Many people told me is like to test making a hard paywall, although I'm
Mm.
not sure because none of the competitors is doing that. So it's about testing and finding out what resonates with people more. So yeah.
Absolutely. No, I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. You see, guys, we are giving the stories with no artificial flavors. We're telling the truth, the good things and the struggle. Um, I have a couple of things that you can put in place to help you sort of get to the monetization. And if you want, we can have a conversation offline after that. I
Would love that.
I can
Would
show
love
you how
that.
to use a couple of leverages. That's a situation I'm familiar with. But I love it. I love it. You said something brilliant, and I want to rebound onto that. You said we started getting attention before building the product, like with the waiting list. I
Yes.
don't have the exact sentence, but I think
Yes.
that's.
Yes.
I want to dive a little bit into this. Tell me more about that.
Yes. It's actually not something super complex. We just like we built the website back then, like the first like landing page, and we basically put on the header, like on the hero section, sorry, on the hero section, we put a button where people can just type in their email and put themselves on the waiting list, so all of them get notified the moment we launch the product.
Mm.
And that worked pretty well. I was really impressed by the fact that at that point we were just building, to be honest, and this is the only thing that we had, and except for going live on different startup events, like that was the next, like the other kind of spreading the word about homepage back then, going to events, pitching, which
Mm.
is a different topic. I If again I would do it, I would do it differently. But basically this waiting list helped us. I think the first 500, around 500 users were like from this waiting list, and these were also the users, the first users who gave us feedback. Like we also created a Discord channel where they can join and write there, like if they discover bugs, if they want new features. And yeah, that was basically what we did before actually releasing the product.
I love it. This is brilliant. It's interesting what you said as a preface to what you said. You said it was the kind of obvious thing to do, building the waiting list.
Mhm.
I cannot tell you. what is the percentage, but the vast majority of the founders who call me, who book consultations, when I explain them this concept, they freeze and they're like, no, what? I'm going to build a waiting list before building my project. Why would I do that? No, no, no. I need to focus on building the features and stuff like that. I even had a guy who said, no, no, no. I need to check that my platform is hacking proof. So I need to focus on running the pen tests first. I kid you
Yeah.
not. I kid you not. I
Crazy.
looked at him. I was like, you have zero visitors for something nobody
Yeah.
knows it exists. Why don't you build a waiting list? So, how would you convince people, or what would be your argument to get people to do that? Like, build attention before building the product.
That's hard to convince people if they don't fully understand, but I guess I think what's happening right now on X is really amazing. That's why I started loving this so much, like building in public, because I see more and more people before even having the product ready, they're already like posting their like process, like every day, like day 50 building in public, and they share what they built before having the full product ready for people to test. I think I have one example, like one girl, I think she's doing it amazing, Avery, on X. She's every day posting every single day, I think for 70 plus days right now, like what she did on the product, and it's not released, and she's every day as well writing how many people on her wait list are there. And I think this is just a brilliant strategy, what she's doing, because when she releases it, she will already have, I think probably before she releases it, she will gather 1,000 users, and these will be the first people to test it, to give her feedback, then she can improve, iterate, and in that way then find the product market fit. So I think this is the best way to
100,
do it.
100%, 100%. And let me give you a couple of other example for you all watching. When you go to a fast food restaurant, they sell you the thing that is not built yet. You can see on the menu that big burger that you're gonna order, and that burger doesn't exist. It's gonna be built after you paid for it.
Yeah,
So
totally,
we are used to
totally.
that. When you are in a restaurant, you see that pizza, you see that moussaka in the picture before you actually paid for it, before it's actually being built. So the world already operates like that. When you walk into a city, especially here in North America or in London, London is an amazing city for that, always in constant constructions, like buildings everywhere. When you go next to those buildings being built, what do you see? Sometimes there's nothing. There's just the land, and they put like billboards, and they say,
Yeah,
buy your apartment today, delivery in 2030."
yeah, yeah, totally.
So they sell you an apartment that does not exist, just using like the scheme or the whatever they call this, and people spend hundreds and hundred thousands of dollars, and they get loans in the bank to make sure they buy something
Yeah,
that hasn't been built,
yeah,
right? And it's sometimes it's much more expensive, or 100,000 times more expensive than buying a SaaS. And so the
yeah,
real world already operates like that. And there's
yeah.
something with tech founders where they don't connect, or they think, nah, but it doesn't apply in our market, it doesn't apply in our field, which is really sad.
I think one of the problems, to be honest, at least what we faced a little bit as well, is in our university, at least it was very very technical based. So a lot of like tech founders who actually want to
Mm.
build business out of it, they don't know how to do it. Like we also, I wouldn't say that we knew back then and that we still know fully, but for sure, like these tech people, they're just thinking differently, um, because they think about the technical part. Like we used to do that a lot. We also focused at some points too much on the product and not so much thinking actually about the market, the business side of it. And I think this is what's happening with tech founders in general. Like they focus too much on the product and they forget that they actually have to sell this thing, because if you build it and then no one actually wants it, then you have wasted all this time like building something that no one will use in the end. So I think that's one thing that's very important that they think about before starting to build it, or during, at least, like trying to already see if there's a potential in doing that.
Absolutely, 100%, 100%. Uh, Before I dive into the next thing, um, is it okay if we extend a little bit the conversation? Because
Of course,
because
absolutely.
we reached the clock, but we were late. I want to respect your time, so I need to ask you that. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And I want to highlight a comment from Raquel, who was my previous guest on the show. So check the video on my X thread. Also a builder, also a woman in tech, saying that building in public is a whole new game. It's amazing. It's like a lot of people are having the same kind of feedback around this.
Yeah.
And yes, you're right. I had two consultations called this year that literally melted my heart. One was a woman who spent 30,000 euros building a platform.
Wow.
And she got on the call and she said, "Okay, I built the platform. It's running. Now I need you to help me get my first customers."
Wow.
I got an update from her 2 weeks ago. She killed the project after 10 months.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine you spent 30K, 10 months, and you got nothing out of it. That's 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 crazy. The
Yeah.
second was an engineer. I don't remember if he was Harvard or Stanford, but like one of those Ivy Leagues.
Hmm.
11 months building a platform, no users, no customers. And he asked me the same question. He said, "Okay, I'm going to release in about a month. Can you help me get my first customers?" I was like, "How long did you spend building this platform?" "Oh, it's 10 months now." Side
Yeah.
hustle. I checked a couple of months ago, the platform died.
Yeah. This
And
this happens a lot, I think. Yeah.
exactly. You can look at Reddit, threads, SaaS, micro SaaS, whatever you name it. Hundreds and thousands of people are spending weeks, months building stuff without building the attention, getting that waiting list, getting people
Yeah.
to know that your stuff exists. And then when they ship, they hear crickets. I failed my first three startups like that. And
Hmm.
one, I presented it to Steve Ballmer when he was CEO of Microsoft. The guy
Wow.
like loved the pitch. One, Elon Musk was godfathering my startup. I nearly raised $1 million with him, and I still
This is
failed.
great. This is crazy.
That's true. You can check. And I still failed. And I had these like people around me because I didn't build in public. Mind you, this was like 10 years ago, and X was not
Yeah.
how it is now. Instagram was barely functioning. YouTube was not as big, etc. Now with the new tools, you can do amazing things. So yeah, I think the main message is don't build, then hope for people to come. Like
Yeah.
that famous like build it and they will come, that is a deadly trap. If we go back to food metaphors, if you're opening a pizza restaurant and you bake a pizza and you let the doors open, people will smell it from the other side of the street. Nobody can
Totally.
smell your sass from the other side of the internet.
Yes. Yes.
So you have to get their attention. So I love that you're building the waiting list, that you build the waiting list, that you're building the stuff. Um, I want to slightly reboot the show and ask you again to present us what is on page, because we're still getting new viewers and I want to make sure
Yes.
they know what you're building.
Yes, sure, of course. Homepage is a cross-platform where everyone can super easily create a portfolio or a mini website where they can showcase their projects, their work, or they can just like gather in one central hub all of their online presence, no matter if it's like social media or other websites. And the whole thing happens with no code, drag and drop, like super easily.
Love it. Who is it for? Who is I like to say the golden user, the unicorn user who's gonna best benefit from using it.
Yes, it's like the term, the basically the global term is creators, like digital nomads, I must say, like people who are already very much into the digital space, because we don't need to convince these people that like they're like already in the digital space. And this includes people like streamers, artists, musicians who want to showcase like their different projects and anything that they're doing in the online space.
I love it. I love it. Excellent. Thank you for representing us on page. I want to make sure people get it, and we're gonna do it again at the end of the show. um,
Of
Now I
course.
want to dive into one last segment before like the final. It's that diving a bit more into this building public,
Hmm.
because it's the second story I wanted you to share on the show. You blew up on X.
Yes, I didn't expect that, but I did.
Exactly. So I would love to hear a little bit more about that. What was the story? What happened? And eventually, if we can start understanding what were the ingredients, so that we can build that viral Musaka growth.
Yes. So, as I told you before we started the live session, I was introduced to X like roughly 1 year ago through my co-founder. He was like, yeah, let's try it there. You know, there are like a lot of people in software building in public. I never used X before. Like, I never knew how to even work with it. It was a bit weird for me in the beginning. And I started posting, but for 1 year I wasn't very consistent. I had these like spikes in like being consistent, getting some traction, reaching, I don't know, I reached around 650 followers for this 1 year roughly.
Okay.
And but because I was like, for example, I was away 2 3 months, then I was back again, so really wasn't very consistent every day. But like in the long run I was like, okay, I should now do it again properly. And I said to myself, I will try no matter what. I will post, I will try. I started meeting very, very cool people there, which I'm super grateful for. And it was one Friday night, um, 7th of November, 2 weeks ago, roughly, when it was really like Friday, and I was sitting and working on homepage very late in the evening. And I had this like, because a lot of my friends were like partying, and like some even invited me to go somewhere, and I was like, at that time was really, I'm not right now, not that I never do that like some people thought, but really at that point I just really wanted to work on that. I was like very focused, and I decided to do a post about it. I To be completely honest, I saw other people doing something similar in the weeks before, but not exactly in the same context and the same text. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna post it for the first time. I mean, I posted my face before, but I don't know. This time was different apparently. So I posted myself in front of the computers, like building. And in the beginning, like, and I wrote this message that Friday night I'm building while everyone is partying, because I have this dream and I believe I will achieve it one day probably. And at the beginning, the post had almost no traction, like almost no traction. Like on the Friday night, just 100, 200, 300 views, a few likes. I was like, okay, doesn't matter, like whatever. And then the next day, it slowly started building up until like roughly noon. It had around 30, 40,000 K, which was for me at that time already, wow, okay. I think my biggest post so far was like 20,000. So going beyond that was already, wow, okay. And I don't know what happened. Like people started following me. Like I was receiving notifications every second, basically, someone following me, someone liking. And the next day, 24 hours later, Saturday evening, I see on X refreshing, and I see followers jumping 30,000 with 30 plus 30,000, 40,000 every second. And I'm my first thought was, something's wrong. There is a
Someone
glitch,
paid.
or there is a glitch. There's something wrong here. And I'm like, and I started writing. I wrote my boyfriend, I wrote my parents. I'm like, something's happening. I think I'm getting viral on X. And
Being a virus.
yes. And then like in just 1 hour I reached 1 million. And I was like, whoa, whoa. how is this even possible? And then I realized what happened. Of course, I like, a lot of positive comments were there. A lot of people were commenting. It was really crazy, and I couldn't reply to all of the people. It was just insane. I couldn't cope up with everything. I remember I didn't even eat on that day because I was trying to reply to people. I skipped even my workout, and I was like, oh my god, what is happening? Um, and yeah, then I kind of, the next days I needed to realize, but I'm I don't know the exact reason, but I'm really grateful because this unlocked then many opportunities. Also, the spikes in the website, the homepage, spikes of registrations, spikes of like people writing to me, giving me feedback. So it really, I'm grateful for the positive things, although there were of course some like negative parts which I was also a bit, I don't know how to say, like I was not expecting those kind of things. But yeah, in the end, it was a positive thing. So I'm happy that it happened.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. No, it's a great thing that you had that viral post. I'm wondering if we can sort of reverse engineer it a little bit to extract some of these ingredients so that
Mm-hmm.
people can try to replicate that million impressions post. But then one thing that caught my attention that you said is you started by doing a little bit of research to see what other people were doing,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then you applied it,
Yes.
which is again, it's a brilliant entrepreneurship or startup lesson. It's like instead of building a new kind of post that nobody has seen, like do what already exists and do it better, right?
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
used exactly that same rule to build your business, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think
Totally.
that's probably one of the first thing. What else you think we can sort of reverse engineer to extract the ingredients of building that 1 million impression post so that
Mm-hmm.
founders who are trying to build in public can leverage?
Sure. Like, I actually wrote a post about this just like 2 days ago, I think. Like, my 5 tips on how to, like, I don't know if it like work the exact same way, but what could lead to a viral post. So basically, one thing, very banal. I think everyone knows this. Everyone's repeating this. Is like consistency. But if I think about consistency, I would say consistency in the long run, because of course there might be days something happens and I don't know, you're not feeling good or whatever. Of course there might be days where you just can't do certain things or something happens to everyone. But I think in the long run, if you in the long run are consistent, then this is definitely the rule number one.
Can you
Yes.
can you can you dumb it down? Just I want to make sure people get it. What do you mean by consistency?
In yes, by consistency in the terms of now talking about X and building in public, in that case is posting consistently, like every day, every day trying your shots. And this applies of course to the startup as well, like every day trying new things and consistently doing it. um my second advice would be what you also said, like looking what other people do. Like I had this kind of people, my idols on X, so to say, where I was like looking what they're doing, and I was thinking, okay, can I somehow apply this, like not copy it one to one because I think this is not good, but get inspiration, do something similar, try out things, do it just in your own authentic way, basically. And I think this for me in that case really helped. um then for sure, quality. Before my viral post, sometimes I was like, okay, let's post this. I mean, not that this is bad, because sometimes you never know what could go viral. But after that, I think because I got a larger audience, I was like, okay, maybe I should now, a little bit try to have more quality into my posts, like really provide in some way either value or try to inspire the people or motivate them, like something that has some kind of value or at least motivates something, or teaches them something, or just be realistic, like show the real side of your journey. In the end, that's what we're doing there, like sharing our learnings and our journey. And another huge, I think, and very important point is people share this. So did I. Of course, getting followers is amazing. I'm sharing it and I'm grateful for that. But I think you shouldn't focus on just getting followers, because in the end it doesn't matter how many followers you have if these are first not your real people you want to connect to, and second, you want to actually build real connections. I really got several super amazing people to connect to there, like with some of them we're writing even every day, and sometimes they are feeling, for example, low, or I'm feeling low, and we're trying to lift each other up, sharing some learnings, what they did, what they tried with their platforms, with their products. And I think this is actually what changes the whole game, because you then get real feedback from the people and you get real connections, and you never know, one day you might end up doing another project with these people. And yeah, I think this would be my kind of top learnings to try to become viral.
I love it. If you're watching this and you're trying this and it work, um, make sure you note our PayPal and Stripe addresses, just to thank us back.
Yes.
But yeah, I agree, 100% agree. Now I want to go to the opposite side of this question. What is it that builders should not do on X in their building public journey? What are the stuff that you tried that didn't work, or you know it's not a good thing to do?
um, Maybe one thing that I caught myself doing a little bit after getting viral is, I spend a little bit too much time maybe there, um, because I wanted to, exactly because of this last point and like the connections, I didn't want to just ghost people, although it was impossible to reply to everyone. It's really
Yeah.
insane, and even X blocked me at some points, like when you reply in bursts, because I always try to reply, for example, in like 10 minutes I try to reply, I don't know, 20 people,
Okay.
and then you get for 20 minutes you just can't reply. And that's,
Yeah.
for example, one thing that you shouldn't do. um, about the postings, I think people, it really depends, but I saw at least people, how the term how it is there is like shit posting, like just talking bad stuff about other people. I think that's not gonna work. Like, even there was one guy who wrote some super stupid comment under my viral post, and then I opened his profile, and all he was doing, he was just hating on people, trying to get attention through that. So for me, that's the one thing you shouldn't do. You're not there to, I don't know, talk bad stuff about other people, hate on them. You're actually there to learn something and to lift each other. And so for me, that's the first thing that I would not do for sure. I think even some people unfollowed him after him doing this.
Hmm.
So for me, I think that's something very negative in general. Um, and honestly, I think people should talk more about their product and their journey, like not just some random stuff. Like, talk about what you do. Share your journey. Share what's happening.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's it's the triangle of sales. Your content should have one of the three objectives: get people to know you, get people to
Yeah,
like you, get people to
yeah,
trust you. If it
totally.
doesn't tick any of those boxes, don't post it.
Yes,
Again, we are not content creators. We are startups. We are entrepreneurs. We are builders, and everything we do should be aligned with our end goal, which is building that
exactly,
building that solution for that
exactly,
particular problem and get people to know it exists. Otherwise, you're just gonna fall into a rabbit hole, and you're gonna attract people who are not the people you can help. Because at the end of the day, you're building a solution to help
exactly,
people, right? Yes,
exactly.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. Have you tried for, because this is a situation I'll probably never experience, millions of people commenting on my post, but
Come on.
have you tried to create like a live space or one of those live videos, and so that you can just read the questions for people and just answer that right away, so that you don't have to type everything back and get blocked by the algorithm.
No, interesting point. I didn't try that, but I was thinking after the viral post of doing one of those like creator spaces where I think
Yeah.
it's just audio based, where you can kind of
So
like
you
talk to
can
other
do
people.
both. Do both. If you do it
Okay,
from your computer, it's audio only. But if you do it from your phone, I think you can trigger the video.
okay.
But yeah, if people are like dropping a lot of questions and you cannot follow up, then maybe like just create a space. It's super easy. Yeah.
That's a great advice. Thanks. I would definitely apply if I have another viral post anytime soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you're right. We should not chase virality in the post. We should attract the right people.
Yes. And
Um,
for me, as I said, I wasn't like my goal was not to get like it happened. I kind of also got lucky, I must say, probably
that's a side effect.
because
Yeah.
yes, I was not. It was not my goal. Okay, now I'm posting this. I'm gonna get viral. You know, I didn't even expect this. It happened only 24 hours later. And yeah, I think maybe one last advice I would give to people is just to try their shots every day, because you never know what might get the attention of people. And from that, of
It,
course, because I had everything, again, to the end goal, what you said, I had on page all over my profile, on my banner, everywhere. That's why people were clicking there. They went to the website. Like we had, like in 24 hours we had more than 2,000 visits, which has never happened before.
mm,
And then from there, obviously, the people registered for the app and tried and so on. So this is kind of like a funnel. You can even see like how people from that one post actually go to the end goal that you're looking for.
I love it, which brings me to one of my last questions. What is own page for those who are still joining now?
Yes, would love to pitch it one more time. Yes, so on page is a cross platform where everyone can super easily create a portfolio or a mini website by adding different elements like images, links, texts. So the idea is to present your projects, your hobbies, or like everything you're working on. And it's like one central hub. Like if you have many online presences, it's one central hub to gather this and, like, for example, put it in your bio on all your social media or anywhere, so that people can actually get to know everything about you. And it works super easily with drag and drop and no coding needed.
I love it. I love it. I'm sure like by the third time we'll got it to people's head. Repetition is essential.
And sign up to try it out. I'm would love any feedback. Like, we're constantly looking for improving, for feedback, what features you would like, if there's any bugs. Like, that's super helpful for us at any time.
I love it, which perfectly transition to my next question. How can we help you and how can we help own page?
Hmm. Yes, so we have a Discord channel. This is kind of our main community space right now, where people first they get announced about like what's been built, but also where people can be informed about new features, new bugs. So first, feedback is very, very welcome, because of course we're still in the early stages of like the product development, and we would love to make it as useful as possible for you people, like for everyone who's using it. And yeah, another help would be maybe what kind of pro features you would like to see, because this is currently our biggest struggle, like converting people from free to pro. And maybe we're doing some mistake there, and I would love to dive deep into that and figure out what's the mistake.
I love it. Okay, I think we've recorded all of that. If you're watching this, there's still a couple of minutes of live session. So if you want to drop comments or questions to our guests before we close, is it okay if we take like 5 more minutes to close it?
Yes, of course, fine, totally
Okay,
fine for me.
love it. So if you have any questions or comments for our guest, uh, this is your shot. And the last thing I want to dive into before people are eventually interacting with us is what is your takeaway in your essential message to everyone who's trying to build a SaaS, trying to build in public, that they can take from this video and concretely apply it today?
Yes. So if you are in building public, definitely share your journey, talk about your product, ask for people to test it, ask for feedback. This is very important already, even before like having it fully ready. Like getting first feedback is super important. Don't be perfectionistic. This has been, I think, for both me and my co-founder, the biggest issue, because perfectionism only hinders you from actually releasing this product. You will never be ready. There will always be bugs. It will never work perfectly well. Even big companies don't like have a lot of bugs sometimes. So don't be perfectionistic. Release it, because then you can actually iterate and improve it based on the feedback. And maybe my final one is don't give up, because I saw in my journey a lot of people who gave up. For example, I still remember one startup when we started this program after university. They gave up because they thought they don't actually have a market for that. But then 1 year later, I think there was another product, very big product, which everyone knows, and it was doing exactly the same thing, and they succeeded. So don't give up. Like try different things, pivot, try with different markets, try with different angles of framing your product, like marketing wise, how to pitch it to your customers, to your people. And of course, if nothing works, then only then give up. But until that point, I think there's no reason to do that.
Absolutely. I love that. Timing is essential. And so you have to trust the timing and try from multiple angles. Yeah, I love one of my mentors says, let the 100 flowers blossom. It's like plant your seeds, plant 100 seeds in different places, and just look at which one gives you the flower. And once you see the flower, okay, follow this one. I love it.
Totally.
We have a question here. How is it important for you to have a co-founder? And of course, congratulations on your progress.
Thanks a lot. Well, I think having a co-founder is actually really great, because you have someone with which you can lift each other up in tough times. And there have been many situations where one of us was not feeling good and the other one was kind of taking from the pressure or trying to lift the other person. So you kind of can really lift each other up, help each other. And of course, the other thing is, if one focuses more on one part of the project, the other one can focus on the other thing. Like for example, if the one co-founder is like more technical, like this person is like building a product, the other one can, for example, do more marketing, reaching out to people, getting feedback. So in general, I think it's actually a very positive experience. Of course, you have times where things are very hard. Sometimes you have arguments, tough moments, especially if both of you feel down. But in the end, I think it's very positive. But even if you're a solo founder, just find people that are doing something similar and talk to them, ask them what they're doing. Like that's would really help for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I want to add to that. A co-founder is not necessary for success. You don't have to have a co-founder to start getting something out there or getting your first revenue. I have three examples of clients. One I've worked with for the last 10 years. He's a solo founder making more than €1 million of revenue alone.
Wow.
He works like crazy. He's a machine. He's not an example to follow. He's a machine, crazy developer, but he's managing a business that is making more than €1 million a year. I have a second startup that I've been working for 3 years. They used to be co-founders. Now he's a lone founder, and they've reached $500,000 annual revenue. But
Wow.
now he has a team. So he's a solo founder, but he has built a team under that.
Okay.
And I have a couple of clients who were able to build a thing. What is very very important as well is it's not the person that matters. It's that destination where you want to take it.
The
You
vision,
have to
yeah.
exactly you have to set the vision before trying to build a team or having a co-founder. I have a very different experience with co-founding. For me, it never worked. It just like shitload of issues, and I could probably make an entire episode about that. For me, it never worked. But tons of learnings. I got into legal battles and stuff like that. But
Oh
not
wow,
everyone is fortunate. Yeah,
that's really
yeah,
tough. I Yeah.
yeah. One of the project, the my co-founder that I've worked with for like 7 years decided to stop the startup because he wanted a regular job. He ended up building another startup, taking all the code that we built.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I kid you not. I kid you not. It happens. It happens. So there are good and bad stories. It really depends on which side of the boat you're in. But you can start without a co-founder, um, and you and the co-founder is like exactly. It's like it's your buddy that is gonna help you in the hard times if you select that person well. Absolutely.
Totally. Yeah.
Cool. Where oh, it's kind of a dumb question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Where can we find you? How can we reach out to you? And where can we find your current product?
Yes. Right now, the most used social media for me is X. So Elitza Vasileva, just find me there. And about the product, it's all over my bio, on my banner as well. And from there, on the landing page, you can also register. And inside of the product, we have also a Discord link. Like, we didn't want to make this public to absolutely everyone because we really wanted this just for our users. So if you register as well, you can join our Discord, talk to us. But yeah, my main right now social media is X, so please reach out to me there. I'm happy for any connection, feedback, anything.
I love it. I love it. I'm gonna Steve Job this and say one more thing, like just like Steve Jobs here. Uh,
Very cool.
I want to offer you something, and to all the previous guests that I had, you're gonna get the same thing as well. But I was preparing it. I want to offer you a free seat for you and your co-founder in my startup community. I'm a startup advisor and investor,
Super cool.
and I have a community where founders get in and we help founders build. I usually charge $2,000 a year for the entry,
Wow.
so I'm gonna give you a free seat for you and your co-founder for
Oh,
1
thank
year.
you.
For 1 year,
That's amazing.
and I'm gonna give it to all the guests that I'm gonna get into the show, if if um, if they are founders and not investors. So I really want to invite you to that. We'll have the conversation offline so I can show you the stuff and you can decide if you want to jump in or not. But I want to give you the free golden ticket to you and your co-founder. I don't know if Raquel is still watching this, but Raquel, you're gonna get one as well, and all my previous guests. So I really like the conversation that we had. I really like what you're doing, the fact that you're pushing stuff. On my LinkedIn post, I wrote, "People complain there's not enough women in tech." My three guests on the show were women, so it's possible.
That's
Push it
amazing.
out there. Yeah, push it out there. Just go for it. And yeah, I want to conclude this show. We're still getting people joining in right now. It's not going down. I kid you not. I don't know if you see the numbers.
I don't know. I have no clue all time what kind of numbers, who is watching from where. I really don't know, but very
I don't know.
exciting.
Everyone who's on X or YouTube or LinkedIn, please do me a favor, write a message in the chat because she has no idea how many people are watching and she has no idea how many people are joining in. It never stopped till right now. We are about to close the show.
Wow.
It's it keeps on getting more people. Let me
It's
check if I
crazy.
think yeah, it's crazy. Let me check if I can take like one or two last questions and then will kill this here. Yep, people joining in right now from Dubai. We
Wow.
couple of comments. If you're searching for a co-founder, Y Combinator, yeah, Y co-founder matching platform is great for that. And there are a couple of solutions. There is one that is being built by my previous guest Rachel to help
Mm-hmm.
you find a co-founder.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
so we're probably gonna do an episode just for that. So people can find co-founders in here. People joining in. Indie hacker. They, Apple.
At
Cupertino.
Apple, wow.
Wow. Okay. Bow down. Amazing. Um, the numbers keeps going up. I think we could just do like a live for 10 hours and would still get people to join.
Maybe we can do
Unfortunately,
a second
why not? Why
podcast in the
not?
future. I would love to.
Absolutely, absolutely. Here's what I can offer you in addition to the golden ticket. Let's have a conversation offline and see if we can do a live in about a month, but this time just with your community and your ex, and I'll just be the guy like helping you manage the questions and stuff like that. Okay, it's not going to be on my show, it's going to be on yours, so that we can answer all these things and all these questions, right?
That would be amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you, Riley, and thanks for having me. It has been for the first podcast, like, and live as well. It was a great experience. So I'm really grateful for your invitation and also for the offer for the golden ticket. It's super cool. I think what you're doing is super cool. You're like leading this super chill so that the guests feel very, very well welcomed. So thanks for that. It was really.
Can you confirm I didn't pay you to say that?
No, he didn't pay me.
I love
He
it.
didn't
Yeah.
pay me.
Well, this is my journey. I want to help a million startup and founders succeed. So those podcasts are a way to get knowledge to people who cannot afford my services, and hopefully this is going to help us spread. Great conversation. Again, thank you so much for having the courage to say yes. Jump on a podcast. Jump on a live podcast, talk for nearly an hour and a half and answer everyone's question and share your story in public in a video live. Like boom, 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 boom.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Everyone who are watching right now, thank you so much for joining us. Give us the energy and the strength to do so. Don't forget to subscribe to Elitza's X account. Reach out to her to get to know more about Own Dot page. Join the Discord. Test the product and give her feedback to help improve the solution. And if you had a good time watching this show, follow me on X. I'm trying to do episodes at least every week. If you have an interesting story, you're a founder, you're a builder, you're an investor, and you want to share your story or you want to share your expertise, follow me, send me a message. I want to get you on the show. It's the Startup Kitchen Show episode 5. We're still getting people joining right now, but I really have to stop it. Thank you so much. Have a great week. Keep building in public.
Thank you.